Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed me.
I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
So, oh, you caught me singing. Or something close to singing. Good morning, 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 good morning. How many can I do without breathing? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I better not do that, because if I fall out, there ain't nobody here to pick me up. You know what I was thinking? Listen to this idea. You know how they have, like, in your car, OnStar? Like, if something happens, it's an emergency thing. They talk to you and stuff. What if you were, like, alone and you're on a Zoom call with somebody and some emergency happened? They passed out or they had a heart attack or something. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way for the other person on the call to call like 911? You see what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about it. Somebody needs to come up with that. For all the Zooming and all of the different meetings we do like this, right? I thought about that during COVID because one of my clients, coaching client, remember that, y'all? Back when COVID hit, and she didn't catch COVID right there, but it hit her while we were on a coaching call. She started sweating and shaking, and I was like, what do I do? Because I didn't even have her actual phone number, right? Think about it. Somebody ought to come up with that. I'm not techy enough. But welcome to today's installment. That was my ADHD at work. Welcome. It's my universe. Y'all are just visiting. So anyway, that's the bell of purpose. I ring it on purpose, with purpose. Why? Because just like that bell, the truth has a ring to it. And I do that. It's a reminder. That's not a show gimmick. Don't get it twisted. That is not some clever prop. That is a reminder. It's an opportunity. Truth is all we have. That never changes on us. And it doesn't change, period. Right? That's why the truth is so important. There you go. Also, welcome to the show at this time. My sidekick. She's been here all 8 years. Lucy McGillicuddy. You don't want to know. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Drinking on some Starbucks coffee. Not the kind you buy in the place. Why go in there for $12 for a cup? I'm making that price up, but it's probably not far off. When you can buy it in the store for half that. A whole bag. Right? So anyway, that's what I'm doing. We are working our way through the week. It's Thursday, the 13th of June. Next week, I'll be headed to University of Wisconsin, Green Bay to speak, delivering the keynote, Living Beyond Our Scars. I'm really excited for that. And then a week after that, headed to Jackson Hole to MC the Great Flutterverse, the Grand Butterfly Gathering, where we'll be with the Guinness Book of World Records people. Brian, my husband, and I get to ride in the Jackson Hole 4th of July, my birthday parade. I've never been in a parade. I've never been in a parade. What do you think we should do? We have a choice. We can ride on the inside of a car, or we can walk it. I want to walk it so I can run up and shake people's hands and take selfies and stuff with them. I think I'm going to walk it. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So now, let's get serious. Today's guest. What? Lord have mercy. A consummate speaker. Just keep your eye on this one. Trust me. But before I even say anything else, I want to share this. Think about what I'm about to show you. If you woke up one day and this were your reality, take a look. Let me blow this up.
The Iran-Iraq War was a military conflict that lasted from 1980 to 1988, sparked by territorial and political disagreements between the two countries. Iraq's President Saddam Hussein wanted total control over both banks of the Shat al-Arab River, which historically acted as the Iran-Iraq border. Iraq also hoped to seize the rich oil-producing Iranian region of Khuzestan along the border. On September 22, 1980, Iraq took advantage of the chaos of Iran's new Islamic revolutionary government to invade western Iran. Iraq initially caught Iran by surprise, successfully capturing the city of Khorramshahr. But soon they met unexpectedly strong Iranian resistance. Iran's regular armed forces and the Revolutionary Guards pushed the Iraqi army back, recapturing Khorramshahr in 1982. That same year, Iraq began seeking a peace agreement with Iran. But Iranian leader Ruhollah Khomeini continued on the offensive, attempting to overthrow Saddam Hussein. And so the war continued. By now, Iraq was financially supported by Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and tacitly supported by the United States and Soviet Union, while Iran was supported by only Libya and Syria. Iraq continued to request peace, and finally in 1988, Iran, motivated by Iraqi gains on the battlefield and Iran's own struggling economy, accepted a ceasefire agreement mediated by the United Nations. The total number of casualties caused by the war has never been confirmed, but estimates range from 1 million to 2 million. In August 1990, Iraq and Iran resumed diplomatic relations. Iraqi troops withdrew from Iranian territories, the land surrounding the Shat al-Arab River was divided, and prisoners of war were exchanged.
Good morning, Soodabeh. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Lauren. I am doing well. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Now, I opened with that because there's not really much I can say. I was going to read your bio, but I thought this would be a great way to come in. I want to ask you off, and then I'm going to let you do some, you can do what you need to do to say hello to everybody. But what went through your mind as you saw some of those photos? Because you're from Iran, you were there.
Yes.
You escaped that war. What does it do when you see, what was that like for you?
It just brings the memory of what I experienced, and actually the city of that they were talking about when Iraq attacked. When I was 19 years old, I was there. I was a nursing student, and when I was captured, tortured, and beaten into a coma, that was just a couple of years before, actually 1 year before the war started in Iran and Iraq.
Oh, okay. So you'd already, wow.
Yeah.
Was that, so when you see that kind of footage, is it triggering? Is it empowering? What kind of effect does it have on you?
I don't feel triggered the way that people can trigger, and their heart rate goes up and body starts shaking. I feel empowered to look back and reflect of how far I have come from the moment, especially, when, bringing the name of the place that before even the war started, I was in the war with the government, and I was beaten into a coma. And it was 1 year later when the actual war between the countries started. But there was a war inside Iran with the government, having that war with their own people, or before the war started, actually.
Wow. So just to give people something to go by, okay, Soodabeh is a registered nurse. She's also an Amazon #1 bestselling author. A couple of the books are Emerging You, and also the author of the immigration memoir, Angel Nightingale, and she is a motivational speaker. She's a certified hypnotherapist, Reiki master, and a holistic wellness coach. Before we get really deep, I got to ask you, because which is the right way to spell that? Because I see it WH and I see HOL. Is there a difference?
I don't think so. From where I have seen is HOW, holistic.
Yeah, but you know how sometimes you see it both ways.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I just had to. I thought maybe you would know.
That's a good question.
I know. I was like, why is there two? No one can ever answer that. Okay, so let's start with the origin story. Um, um, Tell everybody a little bit about, because you actually have a keynote that you just
Yes.
delivered not long ago. Where was that? And tell us about that that story that you shared recently in a big city.
Yes, actually, it was in Las Vegas when in May 16, actually, I was invited to be a keynote speaker, and I could not have done it without your help, Dr. Laura. Yes, I started my story of how I got here, and the fact that I grew up with a mindset of not good enough and not smart enough and not beautiful enough as a child. And my whole world, my reality was confirming all the time that I'm not good, I'm not lovable, I don't have anything to say. And when I was 13 years old, I lost my father to a sudden heart attack when um, took me into a decades of dealing with depressions. My father was my best friend. He was my hero. He was everything to me, wealth of knowledge, would pay attention to me, and with him I felt safe. And then when I lost him, I experienced depression to the point that I didn't want to move on at
Wow.
all.
So a lot of people are probably thinking when they hear you talk about growing up with that, you're not good enough, you're less than, so on and so forth. A lot of people are most likely thinking, well, wait a minute. She said she had a great relationship with her dad. Isn't it the men in Iran who keep the women, who keep their foot on top of them? But in your case, it was a little different. Talk about that if you could.
Yes, it was different because I am short and everybody in my family was tall. I was looking at them and they were, teasing me. But the main guilty party, I call it, was my mom, that she would get like, do something, Soodabeh, jump, play basketball. And she even went to the extent to get me a hormone shot because that would supposed to make me taller. And then she realized that, oh, maybe one of your limb becomes shorter than the other one, and then she stopped. But yeah, she just didn't like the way I look. I have a feeling, later on when I started working on myself, is because she didn't like where she was or who she was. And I think that she would see me because I was the only girl, and I had three brothers. And she would see me the way that she would look at herself, and then she projected to me. And I was the way because many years I thought that why my mother hate me, but she really wanted me to have a better life. And everything that she would do just was to make me become, more motivated and become a better student and all of that. She just didn't know how to communicate, and she thought that by putting me down, she's going to make me motivate me to do something better. And she
Right.
didn't know that she was destroying my confidence.
Do you feel she was doing the best she could
Absolutely.
based on
Absolutely.
what she knew and how she had been
Exactly.
raised? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you have a couple kids, I think.
Yes, I have two children and two grandchildren.
Okay, so your children, boys,
I
girls,
have
mixed?
I yes, one boy, one girl.
One boy, one girl. So how was it for you to,
As a
like,
mother,
yes, as a mother, especially with your daughter, did you have like constant conflict because wait a minute, I do not want to be like my mom.
you got that.
So
You got that. Yes. When I was 30 years old when I moved to America, right? So my son was almost 7 years old, and my daughter was 2.5 years old. And once, just a couple of years after, one day I woke up and I looked in the mirror, and all of a sudden I saw, oh my God, my mom is looking. The reflection. I could see my mother in the mirror. And that was the moment that I realized that there is something within me that needs to change. And
Wow.
yes, it was just like, I don't know, some higher power just showed me something and told me that I need to change because when I came here, my marriage fell apart. I was alone. I had no family, no friends, no money, and I couldn't even speak the language. And I was left alone to take care of two young children. So um, for me, for a while, I was angry. I was angry at the situation. I was angry at how much trauma I had experienced, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And any little thing just would make me upset. And the kids, taking care of kids, going to school to learn the language. And as I said, one day I looked in the mirror and like, something needs to change. And it was the time that I decided to get help. And as a result of it, I remember my kids say, Mom, we love the way that you are now. And we love the way that you took time to talk with us and, share stories, not about the story of the past, because I didn't have anything good talked about, but talk to them and make them feel like they are good enough, they are smart enough. Just empower them, because that as I was getting help and gaining the confidence of who I was, it made me to change the way I was communicating and making sure that my kids grew up better than where I was.
Which is the hope for most parents, I would think. So let's go back down the block a couple pieces of the sidewalk, if we could, a couple slabs to the point when you were saying you were angry. Now, first of all, what religion is the majority of the country of Iran? What religion are they?
Muslim. Yes.
Okay, and the reason I ask that is because in your bio, Angel Nightingale, Reiki master, holistic wellness coach, a lot of things that kind of go with spiritualism,
Correct.
but not Muslim,
Correct.
or Hinduism or any other kind of religion. So I want to ask, what was the progression? What came first? Because were you Muslim?
Yes, I was Muslim, but my family, they were very spiritual, even though, I mean, we never went to mosque. So we accepted everybody's from all kind of walk of life and other religion. I had friends that they were Christian. I had friends that they were Baha'i. I mean, I had my family. I am so blessed that my family raised me the way to respect everybody.
Just be open.
Yes.
Who did that come through? Was that a combination of parents, or was it more the mother or the father, or the father or the mother?
They both. My father.
Awesome.
Yes. Both of my family, they were kind, they were loving, they were generous, they were always helping other people, however they could, financially, physically, emotionally. Both my parents were amazing people.
So, okay, so we have that. I got to ask this too, and then we'll get moving. Excuse me, down the storyline. When you landed in the U.S., you had a lot to do. As you were a nurse in Iran, but you had to learn everything over, retest, and get everything start basically over here. When you came over here and you don't know the language, you don't have any family, you got two small kids, you're alone, no money. Were you also dealing with some level of PTSD from leaving the war and displaced and all of that? where did you go for your mental health? Is this when the spiritual things kicked in?
Yes.
So what did you reach for first? I'm just so interested in that.
Yes, at my faith, I always believed in God, some higher power that I call it God. And I would, at the beginning, I would consider myself from a Muslim religion. And for my upbringing, I learned that God was light, God was love, God is merciful. That's what we, start everything, in the name of God, who is merciful and kind. So that was my understanding. But when I came here, before actually, let me say that when the day that 2 months before I left Iran, it was the day that my brother passed away in a car accident, and that my brother wanted to take me to American embassy. So because I was very sheltered and I didn't know how to go to, out of the country, and I couldn't speak the language and everything. And he
I
said,
remember
that's,
this part. Wasn't it Turkey that he was trying
yes,
to get you to? I remember that her story, you
yeah,
guys. Wait for the
yes,
book. Just wait for the book. But go ahead.
yes,
Go ahead. So your
yes.
brother unexpectedly, tragically taken.
Right. The day that I didn't know that he was traveling, the night before I saw him, I said, "Hey, where are you? When are you gonna get your passport?" Because he was working on his passport. And before he closed the door, he said, "Soon, Soodabeh, soon." And that's all I knew. So the next day, I was a nurse. I came back from work. It was about like 3 o'clock, and my daughter, I had to hold her in my arm to soothe her to sleep. And then in the moment that I like dozed off, like closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I saw a vision, a dream of some sort, that there was a dead body of a man. The only thing that I could see is receding hairline. And I thought at that time, because my husband was in America, and I thought that it was my husband died, and that is something that I had a dream, but I didn't know what to make of it. So I got up, I dust myself up, and thinking constantly that thought. I went to the kitchen, started cooking and all of that. At 10:30 that night, I was sleeping in my bedroom because I was living with my mom, and I heard the phone ring, and then all of a sudden I heard my mom screaming and sobbing, and I, opened the door and I went and say, "What is going on?" And then when my mom said, "It is your cousin is wondering where is your brother," and at that moment my heart dropped, and I knew that that was my brother, and he is dead, but we didn't know where he was.
So
I had that vision the day he died.
so why do you think your mom automatically started screaming?
We knew, I mean, if he was the kind of person, he would always call. And that day, all day, my mom was wondering why my son didn't call me. And my mom knew that he was traveling, and I didn't know. So the moment that, we both knew that he's gone, if we don't know where he is, means that he's dead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sort of in that litany of anger, angry at this, angry at that. Were you ever angry at God?
Absolutely. I was always, because I knew God to be my protector, my supporter, and every bad thing that happened, I blamed him.
How long did that last?
It lasted a long time.
So what was that space like when I mean, it's interesting because I know I've been angry at God, but I think I kind of was half-ass angry. You know what I mean? Like angry and then forget that I'm angry and then, oh, wait a minute, I forgot I'm mad at you. You know, because I was all alone, so I had no choice. But I mean, that's where I talked most of the time.
Right.
How did you hold on to that?
It was like you. It was like you. Like, I was angry because I was hurt. and that anger was just a feeling of hurt. How did you forsake me? I was a nurse. Why didn't you show me that vision? That what was it that I saw? Why couldn't you tell me that I am saving people's life, a stranger's life. I am helping, other my patients. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you show me? I could have saved. I mean, all of those questions. Why why did you take my father? Why did you take my brother? Why did, why am I? Because after my father died, I wasn't really a whole person. I call it whole, not normal, because whole person means that you're content with where you are in life, and I wasn't there. So I never wanted to be alive to begin with. So I was angry that why he didn't choose me, because I didn't have a life. I believe I was nobody. My life was not worth living. I was living because I had kids. I had to take care of kids, all of that. So, and then when I was in the darkest moment, then I will pray, please God help me. Please God help me. I don't know what to do. And then at the moment, but my feeling was hurt, like,
Right.
God,
Right.
you have forsaken me.
Yeah, because even Jesus did that.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jesus went there, and we're allowed. It's okay. Because God knows, I want to ask this, however, well, in Lori said, why God every time? Why not blame the devil? But it's the same thing as when we're mad at something outside of our household, job or situation, and we take it out on the people closest to us, because we
Yes.
know they're going to be there.
Yes.
Right. We know they're going to be there. When we get done and come back around, they're going to be like, okay, I'm still here, even though you bashed me. So I kind of think that has a lot to do with it. Plus, I'm just answering what you said, Lori. This is just me talking about, I'm not going to get angry at the devil because I don't want him to think we can make up. You see
I
what I'm
love that.
saying? Right. I don't want him to think we can make up. I'm not on speaking terms with you.
Yeah.
So, plus I know when, I'm mad when I used to be upset with my mom because I couldn't have peanut butter and jelly, or I couldn't go out and play. I still knew that when I fell and hurt myself, who was going to pick me up, who was going to hold me, and while I'm crying my head off, rub my back and say, it's okay, and make everything better. So that's why I get mad at my mom, because she was the one who was going to make it better. So that's just my take on it, Lori, but I get what you mean. So let's keep going. So you reached for, do you remember when you started forgiving?
Yes.
When did the transition begin for you, and what was responsible for it?
Yes. When I came here, and one day I looked in the mirror and I felt like it was my face of my mother, then I reached out. I read a lot of books and learned from the books, and then I would go to attend the workshops. I was just wanted to feel this forgiveness, this to heal, because I was sick. I was sick physically, I was sick mentally, I was sick emotionally, and I was looking for something to help me, to bring peace within me. And then I found I prayed for a coach, and I found my coach. And my coach started taking me through guided imagery, guided meditation, using hypnosis, and take me to a place that I opened up and connected with the source that I call God.
Yeah.
And that is when my journey from being in a, believing in Muslim religion, I became literally spiritual. I was spiritual, but I was practicing the Islam, prayers and everything. And from that moment, I became completely spiritual. And I don't follow any particular religion. Not that there is anything wrong or bad about it. It's
Sure.
just for me, I wanted to learn from other things, that other spirituality, forms of spirituality that was available. That is when I learned about connecting with the angelic realm, that the angels are here to help us and we are never alone on our path, and learning, connecting with my guardian angels in one of those, because it is in my book how I connected and learned about my angel, my guardian angel, that her name is Rose, that she appeared while I was in that meditation. I asked, like, show me, what is your name, who are you? And she drew a picture of a red rose on a blackboard. She wrote rose in my language and rose in English. So she gave me 3 signs. And that was the moment that I started shifting. My mindset shifted. My whole world. I was in a different world, and I realized, with working with my coach, that she said, "Soodabeh, you are a healer." I'm like, "Say what? What does healer mean?" And I was working night shift. Specifically, every night that I was working, I was working on a cardiac floor, that patients are coming from after heart surgery, and they are attached to all those monitor and everything. And I would assign to a patient that was not a cardiac patient, but they were literally transitioning, and they were really in a place that they were dying, another word. So I would go to the room, and I started feeling that all of a sudden I'm just getting goosebumps every time I talk about it. And the temperature of the room would cool down, and it's not a scary, spooky kind of thing.
Right.
And yes,
Not that.
not that.
Right.
And I would feel, because I am a feeler, I can't some people see it. I could feel that there were the presence of angels that in the room. And I would feel like they were telling me to put my hands on the patient. When they were in agony, they were having a hard time breathing, they were in pain and moaning. And I would talk to them like, I am here, you're not alone, angels are here. And they would calm down. They would calm down. Their breathing would calm down, their blood pressure, because we could see they were hooked to the monitor. And my coworker would say, what do you do every time you go into the room? And these patients, their blood pressure is stable, their heart rate is stable, and they are calm and quiet. Because I had no idea at that moment what I was doing. I was just following what I was guided to do. And that was how, then the next day when I would come, I would hear that patient transition, died, passed away the next day. And I felt like that was a way that I wasn't alone. And that's started the way that I felt like this is my life purpose, that God saved me, going back to God, and back to the moment that every time, life and death situation, and with the 8 years of war, with being tortured and everything that I experienced, and also trying to end my life when I came to America, because I didn't believe I could, move on. Every single time that my life was saved by God, by this higher power. And then I realized at those moments that I was saved for this, to end the suffering in the world.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful, powerful, powerful. Let's talk about when you were saying, because what you've seen probably more than you could count, transitions, people nearing it, people in the midst of it, coming in right afterwards, all kinds of different scenarios. What do you believe personally, as far as what's next? What do you you know what I'm saying? Because you're so up close and personal to it, and so many are afraid of it. They panic. Oh, no, but it's and I'm always, this is just me because I used to sing at funerals. Strangers would call me to come sing at a funeral, and I didn't know the people, so I'd be off by myself somewhere just waiting for my turn to do what I was there to do. But it was very interesting to me how, say, a young person who took their own life or died tragically or something, everybody would be somewhere else at the thing, like outside or in the foyer. They weren't traditionally gathered up around the body, but the people who passed in their sleep, who went by natural causes and things like that, they just stay right up there. And you'd hear them say things like, oh, he looks so peaceful. He looks like he's sleeping. There is a difference that resonates with people, and they don't even. So talk about what you've seen as a nurse, as a healer, because you have two. You have the nurse, which is the physical human person, but you also have the healer, which now is beyond the veil, reaching someone. So what can you tell us? What do you know to be true?
Yes, and that is wonderful. I am going to actually talk about a dream about my father and my brother.
Okay.
So when, we miss that physical being that, my father, I want to talk to him physically. I want to hear him physically. So one night I had a dream that my father came driving in a white convertible, and he was taking my brother and going on a trip of some sort. So I was upset. I said, why do you always take my brother with you? And I didn't know, in my dream, I didn't know they both are gone. I said, why do you always take my brother with you? You never think of me. You never think about taking me. And then my brother laughed and he said, because it is not your time yet. I said, well, where are you going? And he said, where we are, there is no time. Everything is green and beautiful. There is no calendar of some sort. And I woke up. I'm like, talking about someone, loved one that came from the other side and telling me that where they are. So that and everything that I can channel and I can connect and I can and understand other from the other side, including my father, my brother, and the stories that from my patients that I have in my books, actually all the detailed stories. It's there is we are one form. We are our soul. Our spirit is immortal. We just go from one form to the next. That's my belief, and that's because I was given all these information in watching my patients and coming back the next time or some other time. And my belief is just we never die. We just go from the physical form into the spiritual form.
Yes. And as a comforter in the moment of transition, because I really believe that's a specific gifted job, an anointing, and I think you have it. Do you have you ever heard someone's, like, they say they see things, people waiting for them, beckoning them, where
Yes.
they're not really even still here. It's beautiful. They say things. Have you ever heard any of that?
I was working with a patient of mine because for many years I worked in a home health and hospice agency work, that type of work, and I would hear one of my patient actually looked at me and like touched my face and like, oh my God, you look like my sister. You look my sister. she didn't know, she thought that I was her sister. And that's one of the things that I would kind of bring that memory, and they would see their loved ones, and they say, my father came and he told me that he's waiting for me, or something of that nature. We know when the time is here. And
We
for some,
do.
yes, we know. I believe that somehow my brother, the night that before he passed away, because my family, they had a gathering, and they said that that night before his car accident, he said that we are all from dust and we are gonna go back to dust. And they like, wow, did he knew that he was there? Sometimes because the hurt and the pain, I ask question, because the angels come greet us and take us to the other side. That is what I have learned, and from my experience, I'm working with many patients. And I always ask, what was in that moment, what made my brother, for example, that who had a wife, his wife was pregnant, they had a 4-year-old son, why he decided to go to the light. I mean, because we have the gift of free will, that unless that we decide, even angels cannot intervene and do anything. So it was just, I always questioned, what is it that make that moment that someone, the free will, say, I want to go to light, or I want to stay because I have other things to do.
To do.
I can do more, I can serve more from my physical body for in the world versus in the spirit world, which I always believe that my brother, in a spiritual sense, my brother sacrificed his life, because his passing was the key component for my husband, because my husband didn't want me to bring me here, he didn't want to bring me here. So he sacrificed his life, because then that made me to be here. So I am the messenger of hope and healing, and every thing that I do, my journey is also his journey. So he is living through the
Through you.
things that
Yes,
I
yes.
do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow, I can't believe how fast this. We got less than 10 minutes left. Jeez. Let me ask you this. As far as like with the angels, you said they escort us across to the next side. And I've seen angels since I was little. We've talked about this before.
Mhm.
Do you believe that I had just a personal belief. I just believe that they don't want us to be afraid of transitioning, that it should be peaceful and beautiful.
Mhm.
And I believe we can start working towards that mindset before you're even in that space of the journey.
Mhm.
You know, some diagnosis, or you're 90 years old, or I believe things can happen like mile markers in your journey to let you know, because I feel it. I feel like I'm less and less afraid
Mhm.
of dying the more I find myself, the more I learn about my journey, the
Mhm.
less I fear it ending. Let's put it
Yes.
that way.
Yes, 100%. When growing up, we would talk about, the night that you die and God comes, and it shows your mistakes, and then I was afraid of dying, and
Yes.
also I was afraid of when somebody would die, that I would think that their ghost is gonna come and haunt me. We talk about those things.
Yes. Yes.
And then I remember a long time ago, I'm talking about like 20 years ago. One day I had this knowing, I call it knowing, this vision that I was sleeping, I was dead, and I was so peaceful. And that awareness made me feel so be in peace. And I was dating at that time, and I told my boyfriend, I said, hey, I know when the day I die, I am going to be really peaceful and happy. And it's like, knock it out, Soodabeh. He didn't want to talk about
Right.
Soodabeh's died. I said, no, I am telling you, I saw that when it's my time, it's gonna be so peaceful and I'm gonna be happy. I could see the smile on my face, and so yeah, that made me feel like there is nothing to fear. There is only light. There is, and people talk about, somebody comes and God comes, and there is not going to be. We are going to be watching our journey, and then our soul decide to learn and grow from that space. And this is something that in Muslim religion we believed, like the same thing, that every season changes and the leaves just go at fall drop, and then they come back next time next season. A human journey is the same, that we die and then we come back. So it's just a reincarnation, that some people may or may not believe that. For me, it's just this journey. We come and we go the other side and we learn our lesson and we come in another life. For example, one of the things that I also learned is just we choose our life. We decide that I am gonna go to this life with these parents, with these siblings, and because I wanna learn. Because everything that we call life challenge is a life lesson. Because everything that I experienced took me from a place that I am not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm nobody, I'm not worthy, to a place that I feel I love myself, I accept myself, I can create a change in the world. And everything that I experienced took me from a place of nobody to this empowering person, that like I am a powerful soul and I create my own reality, and I do, my action matters, my word matters, and everything that I do matters and could create a positive change in the world.
Wow. Do you ever think about, because your mother and father are both, are either one of them still alive?
My mother is still alive.
And
Yes.
where is she today?
She's back in Iran.
Iran. So do you visit over there very much?
I can, because I have political asylum. So
Oh,
and
that
I
you go
cannot
and you
go
couldn't.
back.
Yes.
And I don't have a desire to go back.
So what is, can she come here?
She did. She came here and she was with me. She was planning to stay here for a little over a year. And then just a couple of weeks, because I took some time off, and then I had to go back to work, and she didn't like it. She said, "What do you mean that you have to work here all the
Aren't you just going to hang out with me?" Right.
So yeah, and she couldn't speak the language, so she went back. But we
But you,
communicate.
yeah, and she can always come back. Do you ever think about, because I don't know what, I don't know because I was born here, but I've heard from some people who migrated that sometimes there's a little pull to, I want to die where I was born, or I want to die, I want to be buried in my homeland, and that sort of thing. Well, how do you feel about, is that do you think about that, or doesn't cross your mind at all, or is that
No, not at all, because I consider myself, this is my home. Because for many years I felt I was homeless, even though I had a home, physical home. I felt like I was homeless because I didn't belong. I couldn't go back to Iran, and here it was just I didn't have a family, so except my children, and I felt that I didn't belong. I didn't have that feeling of safety. I think that's one of the things that the people that are forced to be here and they didn't want to be here, then they feel like at least they can go and their body could go there and they can bury in their homeland because they have that connection. I don't feel that connection with the other my previous home. This
sure,
is
sure.
my home.
Okay, beautiful. So scrolling along the bottom of the screen right now is Soodabeh's website, where you can go over and learn. You can find the books that she's written. You can find out where she's at in the world, what she's doing, and also her Reiki work and holistic wellness coaching and whatnot. Anything? What's on the horizon? What are you reaching for that we can keep an eye out for in the remainder of 2024? Anything coming around the corner for you?
Yes, of course, working with you and my speaking career, that is something that so I can have the message of hope and healing, with more audience and more
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
I am also being guided by my angels to start writing my third book. I don't know how where it is going to be, but that is in the process of, definitely needs to be done in 2024. And for my, as far as my working with client, I am creating a membership that is coming in September. So there are so much is in progress, in process. So yeah, it's exciting.
And Soodabeh doesn't know this, but she's going to be doing a 90-minute television special sometime either over the summer or first part of Q3 or 4, somewhere in the fall. We're going to get you set up for a 90-minute special so she can come in and just lay it out for us. Okay. So,
Awesome.
yes. And I just love your work. I love your story. I believe you have a photographic memory, because this woman memorized her speech verbatim. I don't think you dropped one word, not even a syllable. And it was just amazing. If you get a chance, reach out. Soodabeh, is your speech on your YouTube, the one you did in Las Vegas? Can people find that somewhere?
No, I have not, because we are trying to figure out some part of it. It's not quite yet, but I do have a, yes, but I do have a YouTube channel. There are a lot of information, guided meditation. There's so much on that, and all of my social media, they are Soodabeh Mokry. So if they can find me on my YouTube channel, so Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Oh man, even I'm not on there. That's awesome. Listen, keep up the great work. What an inspiration you are.
Thank you.
Man, that's all I can say. I don't think I could have done it, but who knows? We're never given more than we can handle.
Correct.
And I'm just so grateful for your story. It's so inspiring. Thank you so much. We look forward to when you come back.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lauren.
Of course, of course. Listen, and we're looking forward to when you come back. Hopefully it's tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central, where I, God willing, will meet you right over there on the front porch, where together we can have another illuminated conversation. Listen, it is a blessing to know you, to be with you. I couldn't do it without you, nor would I want to. Now listen, get out of here. Go find a little piece of your highest self and do whatever you can with it that eases some form of suffering somewhere in this world. Now, I tell you every day as we leave that I absolutely adore you. I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have the best day ever. So thank you so much. Great job. Great job.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lauren.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you,
hi, I'm Amy Joy with Amy Joy Coaching, and I have had the pleasure of working with Lauren for the last couple months, although I have known him for over 5 years.